Chapter 5. Classification of Domicile. Section 102. Various classifications of the different kinds of domicile, with respect to the manner in which they may be obtained, have been suggested, but they are for the most part arbitrary and unsatisfactory. Vert 1 divides domicile into two kinds, voluntary and necessary, but unfortunately, appears to confine the latter to the domicile which was attributed by the Roman law to a person whose presence at a place was compulsory, e.g., a relegatus, or a soldier, and consequently makes no provision for the domicile of dependent persons, infants and married women. If, however, necessary domicile is understood to include all cases in which domicile is imputed by law to a person without his choice, this classification is exhaustive, but whether it is at all serviceable, at least without more minute subdivision, in helping us to any clearer understanding of the subject, may well be doubted. Story 2 classifies as follows: 1. Domicile by birth, 2. Domicile by choice, and 3. Domicile by operation of law. The last, he says, is consequential, as that of the wife arising from marriage. But so is domicile by birth, or, to use the more common phrase, domicile of origin. The first is therefore not properly a division by itself, but a subdivision of the third. Philimore's classification, which is carried out further, is open to the same criticism, as well as others. He reduces the different kinds of domicile to three: 1. Domicile of origin or birth, domicilium originis vel naturale; 2. Domicile by operation of law, necessarium; 3. Domicile of choice where one is abandoned and another acquired, voluntarium; ad cititium, domicile de choix. Domicile by operation of the law he further subdivides by saying that it comprises two classes of persons: 1. Those who are under the control of another and to whom the state gives the domicile of another; 2. Those on whom the state affixes a domicile, i. by virtue of the employment or office they hold; 2. by virtue of some punishment inflicted upon them. Under the first class he includes: 1. The wife; 2. The minor; 3. The student; 4. The servant. Under the second class he includes: 1. The officer, civil or military; 2. The prisoner; 3. The exile. In this subdivision he is unfortunate, inasmuch as many of his subordinate classes are composed of persons whose domiciles are not necessarily fixed by operation of the law. Thus, for example, that of the student is as much a domicile of choice as that of his teacher. So too, while a person appointed for life to a civil office, which requires residence at a particular place, takes by operation of law a domicile there, one who receives a temporary or revocable appointment is free to retain the domicile which he had at the time of his appointment or to change it for another as he sees fit. And similar criticisms may be made with regard to other subordinate classes. Another classification is that which Dicey has apparently followed, namely, 1. Domicile of origin, 2. Domicile of choice, and 3. Domicile of dependent persons. But this is not exhaustive, as it does not include some domiciles which are fixed by operation of law, for example, of a person appointed for life to a civil office requiring residence, or a prisoner for life, according to some authorities, etc. Section 103. A proper classification is doubtless desirable, but it is not essential to a proper understanding of the subject. It is proposed here not to attempt one, but simply to consider the subject of domicile in what appears to be its natural order, namely, 1. Domicile of origin, 2. Domicile of choice and the requisites for a change of domicile, i.e. a. Abandonment of domicile of origin and the acquisition of a domicile of choice, or 6. The substitution of one domicile of choice for another, 3. Reverter of domicile, or the rehabilitation of domicile of origin after the abandonment of domicile of choice, 4. Domicile of particular persons, 5. Domicile at particular places, including domicile in countries where authorization is required and in barbarous and Mahometan countries, and 6. The criteria of domicile, or the evidence by which a domicile is shown.